Start of a new year has people thinking about their health, but I'm here to make sure your wallet stays healthy too. From the benefits of dry January to an expert giving us the inside scoop on saving money at the gym, plus a teen whose business is helping other kids live their dreams. It's all coming up next. Welcome to Your Money. I'm your host, Gordon Severson. Numerous studies have shown that being healthy saves you money. You'll have fewer doctor's visits and lower medical bills, and you can use fewer sick days at work. And if your weight stays consistent, you have to buy fewer clothes. Plus, then you never have to worry about stretching out your favorite sweater. Today, I'm talking about a healthy and happy new year and how to make sure that your budget is fit and flourishing too. Over the last few years, dry January has become a popular trend. It's when people don't drink any alcohol for the entire month. But this viral challenge has benefits beyond cutting calories and improving your mental health. Here's a story from Texas with more details.
A sober start to the year can have many benefits. That includes more energy, help with sleep, and weight loss. The Virtue Recovery Center in Killeen says people will feel less depressed and have better family relationships. The viral challenge comes with benefits for your body too. Cutting back on alcohol will help your immune system. There will be heart benefits and your liver function will increase too. Gina Smith, clinical director at the Recovery Center, says the money you would typically use for alcohol during this time can be used to help others who might be struggling.
One of the additional things that people are doing is they are saving the money that they would be using to spend on substances and then donating it to some kind of good cause, usually to help people in recovery, that kind of thing. But really, if that's part of a personal goal that could impact any kind of charity that's meaningful to a person, I think that's a huge benefit to Dry January.
So how much money can you save by not drinking alcohol for an entire month? A new report from Bloomberg found that if you save $126 in January, the cost of maybe 12 to 13 drinks, and drop that money in a savings account with a 5% annual return, in 5 years, that money would be worth $880. And in 10 years, your money grows to $1,849. A much better investment than a cocktail, right? What would you do with an extra $500 a month? Over the last several years in the U.S., thousands of people have participated in a program that traces its history back to the late 1700s. This story has more details about Universal Basic Income, a program that can help both your health and your wallet.
To understand Universal Basic Income, or UBI, we went to Ben Giddis, an associate director from the Bipartisan Policy Center's Economic Policy Project. We went to Elaine Mogg, a researcher from the Tax Policy Center at the Urban Institute, and then several studies on UBI in the real world. So first, what is Universal Basic Income?
So basic income is the idea that every person in the country will have some standard of living provided to them.
So instead of having a number of different programs folks would go to, there would be one check that goes out to every single person. That would be their source of federal or government support.
The idea is that universal basic income could soften the burden of the rising costs of living in the United States and actually encourage more work. Which is another question a lot of people ask. Wouldn't that just discourage people from working if they're getting free money? Here, our experts disagree. Ben Giddis says UBI's goal is to get more people into the workforce and build careers, but
universal basic income at best does not help us achieve those objectives because we're simply giving people money.
While Elaine Mogg sees something else.
In Stockton, they found actually the benefit encouraged people to go to work, even though it wasn't based on work.
Which leads us to, does it work? Currently, the largest study was a 2-year program in Stockton, California. Here, the city gave an extra $500 a month to 125 residents for 2 years.
And what they found is that people who got the full benefit were more likely to increase the work hours.
But
there haven't been really any large-scale implementations of a universal basic income that would be insightful for a U.S. federal policy for implementing that.
Which is why the pilot programs in Arlington, Alexandria, and now Montgomery County will be so important going forward.
In 2017, Oxford academic did a study on the correlation between basic income programs and health. It looked at the Alaska Permanent Fund, a program that has given residents state money since the 1970s, and other similar initiatives. Researchers found that people receiving the extra monthly funds had children born with higher birth weights and 8.5% decline in doctor's visits for mental health. More study is needed, but signs indicate that worrying less about money is better for your overall health. When it comes to that goal, that New Year's resolution of being healthier in the new year, there are so many options, so many different ways to get a workout these days. But what is a good, cost-effective way to get a workout? And to get some advice on that, I've got Chris Freitag, who is from Get Healthy U TV. Thank you for coming on the show with us.
Absolutely. Fun to be here.
One thing I've always wondered, we always joke about it, at the beginning of the year, that's when people start to really focus on being healthy, start to work out again. Do you notice a difference this time of year? Do people really start to come out?
They really do. And I mean, honestly, I think it's great. It's the beginning of a year. It's a new slate. It's a good time to try to find that, take that action. But I hear people say all the time, oh, I'm going to get healthy this year with no plan. And my question is always like, okay, how?
I always wonder with some of these gyms and some of these workout spots, when do they start to see the drop off of people? They start strong. At what point? Is it the third, fourth week, or is it March that people start to take off?
People do. I mean, especially Minnesota with the cold weather, they stay through January. February, you start to kind of see some drop off. But I think it's great. And I always tell people, if you're looking for motivation, because people are always like, I'm going to get motivated. I'm like, don't start with motivation, because as Mel Robbins says, motivation is garbage. Like, start with action. You just have to do it. You got to do something. And once you've been doing that for a while, then the motivation comes. And it's like, hey, I like the results. I like what's happening. Now I'm motivated to continue.
Before we get into the money part of it, I'm just kind of curious, how should someone approach that? If that's their goal of being healthier and working out more in the new year, what are some of the first couple of steps to create some sort of a plan or to figure out what fits their needs?
Well, as I've gotten older and wiser, I've been in this business for 35 plus years, start small. The whole I'm doing this program, I'm intermittent fasting and I'm working out 7 days a week and I'm doing, it always goes by the wayside because it's too much too soon. They're either too sore, unmotivated because they can't keep up with it or whatever it might be. Start with small things. And the first thing I always tell people is check your personality. What do you like? There's no one right way to do fitness. Do you like to be with people? Do you like to be alone? Do you want to go to a gym? Are you looking for that? Are you looking to work out at home? You have to kind of assess your personality, assess your schedule, and then make a plan.
And a lot of people think of the gym right away. That's kind of like the most visible thing out there. And you see all of these ads where it's like $10 a month starting out. But from my experience, it's usually it's not exactly what you're getting. If you want the full experience, you're going to be paying more than that. So if someone sees those offers and wants to go to a gym, what should they be mindful of before they really go in and start having that conversation? What kind of deals might be true and what might be too good to be true? Well,
I think what you have to do is assess it, dig a little deeper. Everybody gives a deal, and I think that's awesome. A chance to free trial or $10 for the first month or, a deal on the whole first year or whatever it might be. But look into the details. Is it, are you after that $10, do you now sign on the dotted line and is it a 6-month commitment? Can you go 3 months? Can you go month to month? Is it, what is the price going to be? Can you cancel? You just have to assess all the situations. Deals are great because it gives you the opportunity to try something for less and see if you like it, but then be smart and pay attention to what you're actually signing up for.
And I know sometimes the introductory offer does fit the person where you can only do so many visits a month and you can only access certain things. And if that's what you want, that might fit your needs. But I'm sure with other people who want the whole package, they're going to have to expect to pay a little bit more.
Well, yeah, and you need to look for the situation, again, that meets your personality, your lifestyle, your family. I mean, some people love the big gym because it's the whole family, right? It's the benefits for the kids and the events that happen and the amenities that go with it. Other people are like, I'm just going to go after work. It's just me. I want to go in. I want to go out. I want more of a boutique style. I want certain type of workout. Lots of people are like, I'm efficient, I work out in the morning first thing, and then I get to my job. I don't want to waste any commuting time. So you need to assess your own situation. But the deals are great. You just have to look at the fine print and say, what am I actually signing up for after this?
And during the pandemic, when we really couldn't go to gyms that easily, a lot of people created their own home gyms, which could be cost effective. If you could talk about it, could that be a way to save money, is to create your own home gym? Or I guess, what have you seen with that?
Absolutely. I mean, working out at home has become a craze, and it isn't going away. People have just decided it's efficient. No commute time. I do my own thing. And I think people who have busy lives, busy jobs, families, for some people that's going to work out really well. You can buy very affordable equipment. You really don't need a dedicated workout space anymore. A lot of people like to work out in their living room where the big screen TV is, and then they play it on the big screen TV. But you can set aside a small space. You can get really great deals on dumbbells and a mat and resistance bands. Honestly, when people say, what should I start with? I'm like, some sort of a surface like a mat and some sort of resistance, whether it's bands or dumbbells, and that can get you started. That's all you need.
Yeah, I think when a lot of people hear home gym, they think of the big home gyms where you're pulling down weights and you're maybe even having a rowing machine, a treadmill. But do you need all of that these days?
You don't. You honestly don't. And then you can join some sort of a program. There's so many out there. Like I said, that's what I do. We run a program, but you have to assess what you're looking for, and then you can find that app, find that program that works for you, log in, and work out in your own little space.
And as I mentioned before, there's just so many options out there with streaming and television and all these packages you can buy. There's no excuse anymore. You can't be like, oh, I've got 3 kids. I mean, that's the excuse I use all the time. And I don't have any time, but now you can do it at home. And there's so many home options as well these days.
Right, and you have to be disciplined. Like I always say, discipline is freedom. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you actually have in your life. Because if you're like, I'm going to get that workout done, in the morning before my job, now you have more freedom in the evening. But to your point, it's just about finding that thing that works for you, finding the time. Number one excuse is I don't have time. So I hear that all the time. And I tell people, how much time do you scroll on your Instagram? How much time do you scroll on your Facebook? You can see that in your phone. When you go in and see your screen time, you're like, oh my gosh, if you were walking on a treadmill while you were looking at your Instagram, you probably got 30 minutes of workout in.
So if someone is really putting their mind to this and really wants to do it, but they are a little tight on a budget, how would you say about how much a month should they plan for to be putting towards working out and being healthy in the new year? Is it like a 10, 20, or maybe should they plan for like $100 a month or something?
You could easily go for $10 a month. If you are going to work out at home and you're going to do a streaming app like ours, and you're going to just get a few dumbbells and a mat and go to town, you could do it for that price. Some of the upper echelon streaming is going to run you more like $40 a month or $50 a month. But again, you go join a gym, you might pay if you go to a boutique, you might pay by the class. So you might be paying $30 per class. That adds up fast, so you really have to pay attention to that. You might be paying a monthly membership. So you just have to look at your budget and decide. But if you are saying, I'm going to work out at home, I want to spend as little as possible, no question you can do it for $10 or less.
And I know the obviously cheapest way to do it is to just go for walks. But yes, I've found that the entertainment aspect, you have to enjoy what you're doing. It can't be a chore. Walking sometimes, if it's the same neighborhood day after day, even if you have music, it might be the same songs that you're into on your phone or your iPod day after day. How important is that entertainment and fun component to it?
It's huge, because people they don't do what they don't like to do, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, people always find an excuse for things they don't like to do, but somehow you always find time for the things that you enjoy. So you have to make it enjoyable. To your point with walks, something that changed for me were podcasts. Podcasts, now I look forward to it and I say, okay, I got to go walking so I can listen to this next podcast. So I find that to be really entertaining. And walking, let's just talk about walking. Walking is the #1 form of exercise in America. It's doable, it's easy, it's cheap. Most people can do it, it's low impact, and it is underrated No question, it's underrated. People, especially in Minnesota, when we're like stuck in this winter time, they go, oh, who cares if you get out and walk? But movement is cumulative throughout the day. And it's not only about moving more so that you burn more calories, you get your blood pumping, but it's also about mental health too. When you move your body a little bit more, you feel better. It's also about like overall health. I always say motion is lotion. When people are stiff and sore and they don't move and they're like, oh, my back is killing me because I sit in front of a computer all day. I'm like, move your body. Motion is lotion. Get out there and move. So walking is so simple and so easy, and people undervalue it. Get out there, people, and walk. It's totally worth it. And cumulative, you know, some of the things about these wonderful devices that we all wear on our wrists is that you can kind of keep track of, like, how many steps have I taken today? How many exercise minutes did I do today? And one other point I want to make is that the CDC used to always tell Americans, exercise 30 minutes a day. I don't know if you remember any of those messaging. And people said, no, I'm not going to do it because I don't have time, you know. And finally, they've changed it to make it more about cumulative movement throughout the week. Move your body for 150 minutes a week. Get your heart pumping 150 minutes a week. I don't care when you do it. 10 minutes on Monday, 20 minutes on Tuesday, whatever. But get it done during the week.
And I know this time of year, going out in the cold for a walk is the last thing you want to do. But there are great places like malls. A lot of schools will open up where you can go around a track or things like that. So there are options, even in this cold, to go for a walk.
Tons of options. And I have to say, if you're a mall walker, I'll see you at Mall of America. I drive down there in the winter with girlfriends, and we walk the mall on the weekends. And it is so easy to get 4 to 5 miles in, 2 laps per floor. Floor 1, 2, 3, 5 miles.
And besides just working out, it's also a good time to be thinking about food and water. I know my wife just showed me this cool app where you can track your water intake, and it actually like sees it fill up. So there's just a lot of good creative ways that people have come up with to make working out and being healthy more fun.
Yeah, do what you like to do. That's the first thing. When people say to me, I want to lose weight this year, I always say, what do you like to do? Because if I tell you to go swimming, you hate to swim, you're not going to stay with the program. Like, let's figure out what you like. And I think we've all become a lot smarter to understand that exercise, there's no one program fits all. There's no perfect way to get your heart pumping, whether you do jumping jacks or you go running or you walk or you cycle or whatever it is. Do you like to lift weights? Do you like to do Pilates? What do you like to do? Do you like to do yoga? Start to figure that out and start to find something that is enjoyable.
My last question, and I think this is a good way to sum everything up, is you mentioned this earlier that you might experience some aches and pains if you haven't worked out for a while. If someone who is, starting out for the first time in many years or is really new to this, what should they expect to see? What can we kind of prepare them for so that if they experience that, they're not going to give up? They're going to understand that that's normal and they need to power through it. What should they expect to see?
Well, that's also why I say start slow, because it's very discouraging to be so sore that you can barely sit down on the toilet, right? You're like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. So you need to just kind of ramp yourself up slowly but surely and get your muscles and your joints ready for what's to come. Give it the chance to acclimate to the exercise. So I always tell people, start slow, see how sore you are, whether we're lifting weights or you're doing some cardiovascular activity or whatever. See how you feel, and if you feel good, like, that wasn't so bad, you could add on a little more. But take the time to allow your body to adapt to it. And honestly, those of you who are over 50 in this crowd, like myself, all of a sudden conversation goes from, how you feel good to all your aches and pains. And it is a part of aging. You do start to have joint pain and some other things, but it's not inevitable. And like I said, motion is lotion. Move your body, lubricate those joints, mobility, flexibility, all of it comes into play.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us some great advice in the new year here.
Absolutely.
One thing you can count on being the same in 2024 is scammers. Anytime there's an opportunity to make a buck, someone will be there to take it. And since weight loss is top of mind for many people at this time of year, you need to keep an eye out for fitness scammers. Those ads, emails, and texts telling you that with just this simple pill, you can lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. It may sound tempting, but take a minute to think. Is that realistic or even healthy for you? Any product or service making amazing claims can often come with a monthly charge that's tough to cancel or a high price with few results.
They'll use the aggressive sales tactics. So they'll really try to push you a little bit, whether it's on the phone or via email. And also, too, it's the limited time only. So a lot of them have that maybe 24, 48-hour window.
Before you purchase anything, try searching the name of the product with the word scams in quotes. You might be surprised at the results. Also check the product's online reviews. If the results are bad or if there aren't many reviews out there, that's a red flag. And if you're signing a contract for a new gym membership, make sure to read the fine print. One of the best ways to pay for any fitness item or gym membership is with your credit card. Your card's fraud protection services will make it easier to get your money back if you accidentally give any of your money to scammers. In 2023, around 2 million people were diagnosed with cancer. Beating this disease is a major achievement, no matter your age. And this story from Arizona is about a teen who wouldn't let anything slow him down. In fact, he turned his tough times into a business opportunity. Check it out.
Like that.
At only 16 years old, Jose Beltran Jr. is taking what he learned from a life-changing program.
I mean, my experience has been a long ride.
And is using it to help change the lives of others his age.
Because being a kid and not being able to do what other kids can do, it doesn't feel great, so.
It's a feeling Jose, or Junior to his friends and family, knows well after taking his health into his own hands and losing weight.
The easier variations of the push-ups.
That accomplishment encouraging him to take the leap, starting a health coaching business.
That's a pretty big deal that you started your own business at 16.
Thank you.
After finishing the Bayless Entrepreneurship Program with the Boys and Girls Club.
A lot of the things that I learned was how to start a business, how to make one, and how to keep it that way.
Junior already has 10 paying clients, earned his personal training certification, and is working on his website.
Starting my own business now, it's been great. It's been great.
The Boys and Girls Club's Cassidy Campana says the program is in underserved communities around the valley.
So these are lots of young people who come together with great ideas, and then they have business mentors who actually help them develop their ideas, help them write business plans, budgets.
For Junior, his reason for starting his business?
This morning, the doctor told me that you were diagnosed with cancer, and I was like when you feel that, when they say those words, it's like, what, this is like, it's real, or like, where are the cameras, you know? And I just couldn't believe it.
Perhaps his biggest achievement of all.
You're 16 and you've already beat cancer.
Yeah. We went to the hospital. They said, this is going to be a 99% survival rate. And we were like, we're good.
Taking beating cancer to becoming healthy and starting a profitable business to inspire other Valley young people just like himself.
There are programs similar to this one all over the country. If you know a young person with a great business idea, encourage them to search for one nearby and apply. It may feel easier to address the health of your body and mind. After all, you see and experience those things every day. But it's so important to not neglect your financial health. When your debt is paid off, your emergency fund stocked, and your credit score at excellent, the peace of mind that follows is priceless. Well, that's all for today's show. I'm Gordon Severson, helping you save, spend, and invest your money wisely. I'll see you next time.